listening to Mike Guido and Josh Tariff. Buckle up! Buckle up!
All righty, here we go. We are here. Mike and Josh.
That's us.
By the way, on a decade episode. Decade.
A decade?
A decade. We are. This is episode 10, Josh.
We've made it to double digits.
We've made it to double digits. Some people doubted us.
Some people
But
thought
nay to them. Nay, I say.
the over-under was 2.5. I mean, that's wild.
That's right. Yeah. Well, listen, we slammed that over. And boy, are we glad to have you here. Good evening, world, and all who inhabit it. I'm Mike Guido. That's Josh Tariff. It is great to have you here on Mike and Josh. For the first show, by the way, it may be our 10th show, but this is our first show in our brand new time slot, Josh.
That's right.
This is where we're going to live from now until we feel like we don't want to do this anymore.
We are now set on Thursdays from 4 to 6 Pacific time, 7 to 9 Eastern time. So now we have moved from me just being very tired and doing the show early Tuesday mornings to me very tired doing the show Thursday late afternoons.
That's right. Right, exactly. So it is great to have you here. And listen, if you are on the East Coast, like Josh said, if you're on the East Coast, it's 7 o'clock Eastern here. So you're either sitting at the dinner table or you're lounging on the couch after a long day of work. And if you're on the West Coast, you're either still at work or about to punch the clock out, or you're driving home, something like that. We're right there, baby. We're right there. Turn us on in the car.
Yes, we want to be your evening rush hour listen to thing.
Yes.
Was that a good pitch? The listen to thing?
I think it's as good as any.
All right.
I think it is as good as any. So, like I said, we have plenty of stuff to go over today. Super Bowl Sunday is set, Josh.
It is.
And remember, when we talked about these games last week, we both predicted that the Rams would play the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Even with Jarrett Stidham starting for the Broncos, we both predicted it was going to be Rams-Broncos, right? And we both said, let's not pretend like Patriots-Seahawks can't somehow happen, because it absolutely can. It is more than a possibility, as if we were talking about it as if it would take some miracle for it to happen. And that is, in fact, the case. That is the game we got. We got Patriots-Seahawks in Super Bowl 60.
I do just want to say right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, we need to applaud Mike Guido on an incredible run that he had in this year's playoffs. He was picture perfect throughout the entire playoffs until he agreed with me. So
Yeah.
I take the responsibility.
I think you said that
of
last
being
week.
I did 100% say, are you sure you want to do this? Because I'm agreeing with you. I gave you the chance to change.
I know. It's not. Yeah, I know. I should have taken it and ran with it. Well, listen, I had a little bit of an out, right? I had an out. I could have switched my pick to the Patriots at the last minute, right? But I'm like, you know what? No, because if I switched to the Patriots and then Denver won, I would have beat myself up, right? Because then it would have been like, what am I second guessing myself for? So at least after the AFC Championship game, I had like an out. Okay, like, listen, the Patriots won because Bo Nix was hurt. Like, that's whatever. Mm-hmm. I legitimately lost the Seahawks-Rams game. Like, it was over at that. I was still picking the Rams almost no matter what. Like, the perfect bracket was not going to survive anyway. So I'm not all that upset about it. I do think that I am unbelievably smart and
humble, clearly.
And, right. So, so obviously we'll start with that today. We'll start by talking about these games, kind of giving you some perspective, maybe some early thoughts on the Super Bowl. We're obviously going to talk about it more next week as well. But coming up in about 15 or so minutes, 15, 20 minutes, maybe a bigger story than the Super Bowl itself is Bill Belichick reportedly not being selected to the National Football Hall of Fame. So that's a big story. And I do have a take on that, by the way. I do have a little bit of a take that if this is the route they want to go, I hope they realize what they're setting themselves up for. That'll come up in about 15, 20 minutes. The NBA trade deadline is going to come up soon.
Yep.
And as we talked about before, Josh, in many, many moons ago, Giannis is right in the center of that. Shams Charania reported that the Bucks are now taking phone calls. They are taking offers for Giannis. Have we seen the end for Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks? We'll talk about that as well. Boy, do we have plenty of stuff to talk about today. Coaching carousel. The Clippers have somehow recovered from what they started with.
Yeah.
It is amazing how that's happened. We'll touch on that as well. But first, let's start in the AFC Championship game, Josh.
All right.
The New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos, it was a 10-7 game. It was snowing like you wouldn't believe. You couldn't see in front of your face. Drake Maye, and again, this in all fairness, what do you expect when it comes to weather like that? Drake Maye did not have a great game. 10 of 21, 0-0 for 86 yards. Wasn't a quarterback game, right? Jarrett Stidham, 17 of 31 for 133, a tutty and a pick. He did make one really nice throw early in the game, but I mean, what if you had to? Let me throw it to you this way, Josh, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, how dare you!
One word to describe this game, what would it be?
One word.
One word or phrase. I would accept phrase.
Okay. Well, the phrase is one mistake, and that mistake was Sean Payton going for it on fourth down early instead of taking a field goal before the snow showed up to take a 10-0 lead. Mm-hmm. That ultimately is what cost them this game, because if this game was tied 10-10, who knows how it would have transitioned, or who knows, obviously, how the Patriots. Of course, that's all hindsight. You can't predict what would have happened.
Right.
But make no mistake about it, the Patriots have dealt with the going to be now dealing with three of the top four defenses in the league through the playoffs. They overcame Denver, they overcame Houston, and now they're about to play Seattle. And they have been winning every game in the playoffs with their defense. You said Drake Maye didn't have a good game. Drake Maye hasn't had a good playoffs.
No.
He has not been good throughout the playoffs. Now, to his credit, he beat Denver with his legs. 10 rushes for 65 yards and the only touchdown for the Patriots. I find that fascinating when you had Ramondre Stevenson just carrying the ball, because you knew they would be doing run heavy with that terrible weather, which was why it's confusing when you look at the stats. Ramondre Stevenson and Drake Maye combined for 35 carries. The entire Broncos team combined for 24.
Right.
And the Patriots, in my personal opinion, didn't use their best running back, which is Travion Henderson.
Yeah, I've kind of been surprised about that, Josh. Ramondre Stevenson got 25 carries in that game. Travion Henderson had 3.
Right.
I mean, and I thought Travion Henderson proved himself at the end of the season as being the more explosive, the better back. Ramondre Stevenson has been getting the bulk in the playoffs.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And, I mean, to his credit, has done well. I wouldn't call 25 carries for 71 yards in this game a good game when you're only averaging 2.8 yards carry.
Yeah, right. It's less than 3 yards carry.
Given the conditions, I get it. But that's where I'm confused, because then when you flip over to Denver, their best running back is R.J. Harvey. and he only had 13 carries for only 37 yards. So he was doing even he did identical in the average yards per carry than Stevenson.
Right.
But then Jared McLaughlin only had 4 carries. They didn't try any, any real jet sweeps or anything of that nature.
Right.
Denver relied on Jarrett Stidham's arm. And that's where, again, mistake. It was really a head scratcher with the great Sean Payton and these coaching strategies and going for in the fourth, relying when most of the second half was a 3-point game, just relying on Jarrett Stidham's arm instead of just trying to run the ball down.
Right.
But again, New England's defense showed up, and the Mike Vrabel mindset is in full force and got a team that won 4 wins last year to the freaking Super Bowl. Has there been a team, and because I'm thinking, recently biased, and I'm sure there probably has been one, but correct me if I'm wrong. When was the last time there was a team that got a brand new head coach from a terrible record and in 1 year got to the Super Bowl? Because I know there was like the Gruden time with Tony Dungy and things like that, but the Buccaneers weren't terrible. They were just like that one step away.
Yeah.
The Patriots were terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were awful.
Yeah. And they were able to make this happen. Also, New England being the first team ever to be 9-0 on the road this year.
Yeah. Wow.
And hey, the Super Bowl is not in Foxborough. So
right.
They have a shot of doing something that has never been done.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one real thing that I think that honestly this is the big takeaway for me. You could not, and you just brought it up, you could not have handpicked a better coach for the Patriots than Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel, and when the Titans, it's almost like the secret that everybody knew, right? As soon as the Titans fired Mike Vrabel, everybody was thinking he's going to go coach the Patriots.
Yep.
Right? And it took him a year, right? Because the Patriots rolled the dice with Gerard Mayo, and it clearly didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have Mike Vrabel, who had tons of success as a player in New England, right? Everybody knows the story about that. But now he comes back to coach with a proven record as a coach, earning the number 1 seed in the I always say this, earning the number 1 seed in the AFC with the Tennessee Titans with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. Like, I don't know how
you forgot to add the great Ryan Tannehill before you said the great Ryan Tannehill.
Right, exactly. Sir Ryan Tannehill. It was honestly, it's when you look back on it now, it's way more unbelievable now than it was then. Yeah. Right? It is just not something that should have been possible. And now Mike Vrabel goes to the Patriots and has this unbelievably quick turnaround, right? A daunting defense that you look at what their defensive depth chart looks like, it really isn't all that special. It's really not. They don't have stars all over the field. They don't, right? Their best defensive player is Christian Gonzalez, and outside of him, who are you looking at as like he's a surefire Pro Bowler? I don't know that there is one. Yep. Like, that's kind of the culture they've built around. This is a gritty, and might I even say, as much as people are going to give me pushback, especially being from New York, the Patriots right now are likable. You can root for these Patriots, right? I mean, in the Belichick Brady days, when you're talking about, forget about all the scandal, the scandals and everything, but they just won so damn much. And it just felt like Brady never gets hit, and the amount of things that go their way, I mean, it just became nauseating for so many people. this was not that. The season the Patriots put together was not that. This was a second-year quarterback with, I would give him average offensive weapons at best, right? I mean, we're talking like
because Stephon Diggs was not the Stephon Diggs we know.
Right. Stephon Diggs is getting older. He is not the Stephon Diggs of Minnesota or Buffalo, not even close. Keyshawn Booty is your next best wide receiver, or Pops Douglas. Like, that's what you're hanging your hat on. And then you got Ramondre Stevenson, and I don't know, you just started implementing Travion Henderson, and that offense gets to the Super Bowl. Listen, this is a Patriot team I can root for. And I'm not saying I will in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, but this is a much more likable version of the Patriots, much more relatable version of the Patriots than we've seen in years past. John.
And one last thing I want to touch on that, because we just brought up his name, Stephon Diggs. He is the one that I'm happiest the most for on this team, because
really?
and the reason for that is he did everything he could in Minnesota, and you see like the disappointment when Minnesota fell just short, of getting to the Super Bowl while his time there. He goes to Buffalo. They have everything. And then you watch him, you have that iconic photo of him standing there while the Chiefs are celebrating, because he got like so close there.
Yeah.
Now he's finally made it to the Super Bowl. So I expect him, the way that we've seen him act like around the teammates and things like that, I really expect him to be going off on them to the point of, hey, who knows if we can ever get back here? I've come close so many times, so we need to make this work. We need to do what we can, because there are nail biters and there are heartbreaks way too often in this sport. Right. So we got to take advantage of this.
Right.
So I'm happy that he's finally getting the chance to be in a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, regardless of what's happening with him off the field, right? Like, it doesn't matter what's going on with him and Cardi B, I think. Right? That's what's happening with him now, is the whole baby thing.
Hey, the man likes to have babies. I mean, teach their own.
Listen, tell Phillip Rivers. Yeah. Right? Some people just like to have lots of children. And I don't even know how many children he has. Does Stephon Diggs even have a lot of children? All I know is that he has one baby. He's going to have one baby with Cardi B. Does he have much more than that? I don't even know if he does.
According to a quick Google search, he has 6 kids.
Oh, there you go. All right, so he's halfway to Phillip Rivers. Just about, right? Isn't Phillip Rivers on like 13 or something, or 11? It's something like that.
I mean, he can put an NFL team on the field.
Yeah, he really can.
Yeah,
that is really remarkable. Anyway, let's quickly shift to Rams and Seahawks. This one was fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Game to watch. Matthew Stafford was brilliant and lost 22 of 35 for 374 and 3 touchdowns, no picks. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams were both great in that game. Seattle, Sam Darnold. I mean, Josh, we've had the conversation countless times about wondering if Sam Darnold can step up in the big moment. And I mean, that dude has had one heck of a playoff so far. 25 of 36 for 346 and 3 touchdowns. He went toe-to-toe with the MVP of the NFL, a lot would say. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 10 catches for 153 yards and a touchdown. Listen, this is also a team that was out Zach Charbonnet. They're going to be without Zach Charbonnet in the Super Bowl. Kenneth Walker was able to handle the load. Listen, man. The Seahawks, I think, are just playing better football than anybody else right now. I mean, they are just so hot at the right time. I'm not going to like spoil my Super Bowl pick, because again, it could change by next week, but I'm going to find it really hard to pick against the Seahawks, given how well they're playing.
Oh no, I mean I 100% agree with that, and I will say this: as much as I love being right at things, what I love just as much, if not more, in all sincerity, is when I get proven wrong. And Sam Darnold completely proved me wrong. And I commend him for it because, like you touched on, I continued to pick against Seattle for the sole reason, as great as they are, for we haven't seen Sam Darnold truly deliver in the big moments. Last week, he managed the game where they just dismantled the 49ers, but he was also hurt. So, he still played okay, but it's like, all right, but he's kind of banged up, but his overall stats weren't good. Mm-hmm. How will he be? Because he needs to do more than what he did when he plays the Rams. And my God, did he deliver.
Yeah.
I mean,
Matthew Stafford was brilliant in this game, and it required Sam Darnold to be brilliant back, and he was.
He needed to keep up with Sam Darnold, and he did. And he showed that he was able to keep composure in a high-pressure situation. You're at home, so obviously all those fans are rooting for you. Division rival. You guys have had nail-biters all year. Mm-hmm. And without Zach Charbonnet, as you mentioned, so one less person to rely on to get the ball into the end zone, Sam Darnold took it upon himself and was able to lead. Obviously, when you have someone like JSN, to throw to, certainly helps things.
Yeah.
But their defense, this generation's Legion of Boom, mm-hmm. they still gave up 27 points. So it's not like they were doing an incredible job. So he put the entire team on his back, and we have the New York Jets' worst nightmare happening in the Super Bowl.
I was about to say, right? So Barry Grant Jr., our good friend, sure, I'll call him my friend, whatever. It's a friend.
Friend's a strong word.
Yeah, right. We'll see. He's a very, average acquaintance. Anyway, he goes in the comment section, says, anybody who's from, this is directed at me, anybody who is from New York and roots for the Patriots who is not a Patriots fan is a real scumbag, he says. Talking about Sam Darnold, he says, I always believed in him. As a USC fan, I knew he was going to be good, never rattled after bad decisions. It was only time that he needed. And then he also says, this is something that he posted even before that comment, every Jets fan is now a Seattle Seahawks fan. Here's the thing. I agree with you. This is the worst nightmare for the New York Jets because on one hand, you have the Patriots, who you obviously despise. And then on the other hand, you have Sam Darnold leading the Seattle Seahawks, a guy that you drafted, developed, and couldn't make work because Adam Gase was your head coach. And now he's going to the Super Bowl to play against the Patriots. So
I saw a tweet the other day that I think that summed it up perfectly, where it was like, hey, low-key, I think the Jets are celebrating the fact that they made a great draft pick when they drafted Sam Darnold. Because that is their win, because they're saying, oh, our quarterback that we drafted made the Super Bowl, not with us, but he made the Super Bowl, so we made a good draft pick.
Yeah, Barry saying correction on my comment. Correction, we don't develop anyone. That's 100% true. I said that we drafted and developed. You're right. The Jets don't develop anybody except losers. Anyway, all right, let's go to break. When we come back, I think the Football Hall of Fame, Josh, is setting a very interesting precedent by not letting Bill Belichick into the Hall of Fame. We will talk about that next.
What up, Cowboys Nation? We are Cowboys Can Fan.
Like Canadian fan. And we're big Dallas Cowboy fans. We live stream every Dallas Cowboys game with our unapologetic, intoxicated play-by-play and color commentary, and we guarantee you won't find anything like this anywhere else.
We do that in the ring together?
We told you not so bland was here to stay, baby.
And if you like to have a couple cold ones,
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. Crack 'em if you got 'em.
And watch the Dallas Cowboys play football.
you need to join us 1 hour before the Cowboys kick off, throw your score prediction in our live chat, and if you're right, guess what? We'll send you a shirt, some CanFan merch. Click the link, check us out, and subscribe if you like what we do.
Oh, and remember, BYOB.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Bring your own boosh. What's going on, everybody? My name is Bryson Carver, and I'm the host of the Carving It Up podcast right here on the Grid Network, as well as my own personal YouTube channel, Carving It Up with Bryson Carver. On my show, talk about a number of the biggest topics in the world of sports, as well as culture and entertainment, and I include special segments such as Bryson's Best 10, The Ball View, and one of my favorites, Carving Up the Context. I also like to invite special guests on the show to get different insights and perspectives on topics, and most importantly, I love to hear from you, the audience, in the chat below. So check out Carving It Up 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Facebook, X, and on Instagram. Check the show out anywhere you get your podcasts as well as on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys.
Alex Rodriguez is coming out with a documentary, and it goes into detail. Like, he's never talked about the steroid part of it and all the pressure. You will do a lot more desperate things to try to stay relevant, and you can see that he was straining to be this person that he wasn't, instead of just being the person that he always should have been. Just, I'm Alex Rodriguez, because of imposter syndrome. He had to be somebody that he wasn't. Goes to the Yankees, gets another big fucking contract. I empathize with that, because when you're this great player and people are looking at you and they're looking through you, it makes you realize that maybe Alex doesn't matter. I have to be A-Rod.
Yo, this is Barry Grant Jr. I want to give a big shout out to Mike and Josh, and be on the lookout for more clips from All Even Podcast.
This is Patrick L. Brown, lead journalist here at the Grid Network, reminding you to make sure that you check out all of the latest articles over on the Grid's webpage under the blog section. There you will find the hottest takes in sports, mixed in with some mental health articles as well. Dare to be different? Enter the Grid, your new leaders in digital media, sports, and entertainment. As I always say, stay tuned.
Well, thank you, Patrick. We are back here on Mike and Josh. That's Josh Tariff. I'm Mike Guido. It is great to have you here. By the way, speaking of Patrick, he just threw this into the comment section regarding the Seahawks. I'm happy for D-Law, DeMarcus Lawrence. Hopefully he can get his first ring, just like D-Ware, DeMarcus Ware, had to leave and experience what playoff success is all about and win a Super Bowl. Again, obviously away, far, far away from the Dallas Cowboys.
The Patriots built a dynasty, fell apart, rebuilt, and got back to the Super Bowl before the Cowboys got to the NFC title game.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Uh-huh. Didn't skip a beat there, Josh. Skip a beat there. No. Oh, the pain that we Cowboy fans suffer on a yearly basis. Boy, oh boy. All right. We do have plenty of stuff to go over today, but let's talk about maybe the biggest story in sports right now, and that's Bill Belichick. Not being inducted, reportedly not being inducted into the Hall of Fame after what is clearly a Hall of Fame career, right? A 6-time Super Bowl winner with the Patriots, 3-time Coach of the Year. Obviously, some would argue, and I would even say most would argue, he is the greatest head football coach of all time. He's not getting in. And part of the reason that I saw was because Spygate, Deflategate, that being the deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, if that's the precedent you're going to set,
Yep.
that means Tom Brady ain't getting in on his first try either.
Right.
Is that really what the Pro Football Hall of Fame is going to do? They're going to hold out. So, Bill Belichick, by all things considered, by the way, because Robert Kraft is getting in, but Bill Belichick took as much of the blame as anybody. Same thing with Tom Brady. Took as much of the blame as anybody with these scandals, okay? Does that mean to say that the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because they are not choosing to elect Bill Belichick into the Hall of Fame this year, and they're going to make him wait, are they going to set the same precedent with Tom Brady? Are they going to make the greatest quarterback to ever touch planet Earth, by most people's eyes? Are they going to make him wait? And are you sure they want to do that? What do you think, Josh?
Well, let's add a couple more to that. Does that mean they're going to have Gronk wait, who is one of the best tight ends of all time when he becomes eligible? Are they going to make Adam Vinatieri wait when he is considered like the greatest kicker of all time?
And he's eligible this year, by the way.
Right. So are they just going to punish any Patriot that was on these teams based off that? And furthermore, what does this do for other coaches when they become available? Like, do you happen to know offhand what other coaches are listed or were going to be listed soon?
I don't.
Because one thing I did learn, and honestly, I didn't realize this until this news came out, was NFL coaches only have to be out of the league for 1 year before they're eligible. So
I actually didn't know that.
Right. So because Belichick's only been out of the NFL after 1 full year, then that following year they can start being eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So does that mean, I'm just throwing another name out there, he's nowhere near in comparison on the accolades as Bill Belichick, but let's bring up Mike Tomlin because of all his wins and his longevity with the Steelers.
Okay, right. I like that.
He's got 2 years left, well, technically on the Steelers' contract, but he's out of the league. But based with that resume, I would think he would be a Hall of Fame coach.
Well, that's the interesting part, right? Is that coaches are they're not the same as players.
Right.
Right? Players have to officially retire.
Yeah.
And then if they want to go back, they have to come out of retirement.
Right.
Right? That's not
which was why Phillip Rivers was going to be eligible, but then removed it.
But then removed himself. Right. So, but coaches don't have to follow that.
Correct.
So that's true. Could obviously not this year, but next year's cycle, is Mike Tomlin going to be considered? That's funny.
Right, because if you are to consider him, and let's just obviously now this would be 1 to 2 years down the road, but let's just say Mike Tomlin somehow got into the Hall of Fame before Bill Belichick. Right. And that's not to disrespect Mike Tomlin for what he did in his longevity in Pittsburgh.
Yes,
but you're trying to tell me that the second most wins ever, most Super Bowls ever, and helped develop, we just named 4 different Hall of Famers in different positions.
Yeah, right.
You're telling me that he can't make the Hall of Fame?
There's nobody in football that has ever been better at turning former quarterbacks and former lacrosse players into great NFL players. Like, that's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
Okay? But I really kind of want to dial in here on there's absolutely no way the Pro Football Hall of Fame is going to make Tom Brady wait. There's no shot in hell that that's going to happen. No way.
None.
The world would explode. Now, I think part of the reason, and now here comes me diving into conspiracies, okay? I think a lot of people think that Bill Belichick not getting into the Hall of Fame is ridiculous. But I wouldn't call what's happening right now outrage, right?
Okay.
There would be outrage if it was Tom Brady. I'll use this word that a lot of the young kids now use. The aura right now around Bill Belichick is right now his coaching stint at North Carolina looks kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
All the parading around with the media, with what's his girlfriend's name? Jordan, right? Like his girlfriend, his 23 or 24-year-old girlfriend, whatever it is now like parading around as his manager, and it all looks very weird, right?
Sure.
Is that kind of leaking into this? Because I sort of think it is.
Well, I mean, you know, anyone, whether it's fans, writers, media, etc., players are always on a much higher pedestal than the coaches.
Of course.
So yeah,
of course.
right. So when I'm under the assumption and hopeful assumption that there will be no disputes or questions with Brady getting in when he is first ballot. Now, there probably will be one or two whiners that the Patriots beat that vote against him. It probably will not be unanimous. With that alone is ridiculous.
Of course.
But it's just this mindset of, honestly, it's just petty jealousy.
Yeah.
Like if we were to go into the NBA, like if we transition this, if we looked at Phil Jackson, greatest NBA coach arguably of all time, most championships. Okay, he coached Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, and then went and coached Shaq and Kobe. I have a feeling, as good as those players were, they were better thanks to Phil Jackson and his coaching.
I think any rational human being would think that way.
Right.
Okay.
And
Tom
now
Brady was great on his own. Let's not kid ourselves.
Right.
Okay. But do you honestly believe that if Bill Belichick was not around, if Bill Belichick was coached by Freddie Kitchens, it would have turned out all the same? No. Like, it's just not the way a person should think.
Right. I mean, if like with Phil Jackson, I just use this comparison because he's the best coach in that sport, in my opinion, of all time. And Bill Belichick, in my opinion, is the greatest coach in the sport of football. Mm-hmm. And so if you had social media back, like in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s,
right,
with all the gambling things that Jordan was doing, all the partying that Rodman was doing, all the arguments and stuff that was happening with Shaq and Kobe, would that have then hindered Phil Jackson from getting in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely not.
Right.
So why does this happen to Bill Belichick? Is it because you're jealous that he was so much better than you with the dynasty, Mr. Polian, that he was able to win all these championships? Is it because you're jealous that he has the hot 20-something-year-old girlfriend now? I don't know what it is.
Well, but
it's ridiculous.
Right. And that's the part of this that makes it ridiculous, is that if they're justifying it by saying that, listen, we can't let him in right now because of Deflategate and everything like that's the reason we're not letting him in. Okay, so then he's Barry Bonds, right?
Right.
He's got 762 home runs. He's got more home runs than anybody else. The guy's had maybe the greatest offensive career of all time, but because he cheated, we're never letting him in. Okay, if that's the precedent you're going to set, fine. But then
Tom Brady's not in.
Then Tom Brady's not in, right? And everybody and their mother knows that that's not happening. Everybody on planet Earth knows that Tom Brady is getting in on the first try. Let's not be ridiculous about this. So what's going to happen? When Tom Brady gets elected into the Hall of Fame and Bill Belichick still isn't in, how is the NFL going to justify it? Are they going to say that, well, we kind of knew that Bill Belichick was really the cog in the machine and, like that was he was behind the whole operation. Are they going to try and find a way to justify it? Or are they completely oblivious to what their own actions are?
And on top of that, the specific voters that voted against Belichick, newsflash, you cannot now vote him in next year, because then you are proving that you just did this out of spite to try to punish him for 1 year. Because now all of a sudden a year later, oh, you know what? No, I think he is good enough to be in a Hall of Fame after all. Yeah. No, that's not the case. If you voted no, you have to stay no, which then questions your beliefs and your morals and what you feel is right.
If that's your justification.
Yeah.
Right? If that's your justification. Because I understand, like, the way that they do it in baseball, right, is if you have to get 75% of the writers' vote in order to get into the Hall of Fame, okay? And there are times where, like, listen, a guy's been on the ballot for 8 years, but his percentage of voters just keeps climbing every single year, right? Like, he'll eventually get in because it's just, like, he'll just reach enough numbers of voters, right? If a writer doesn't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and he thinks he's a 7th ballot Hall of Famer, then he'll vote for him in his 7th year, right? That, to me, makes sense. If this is your justification for not letting him in, for Deflategate, for anything like that, like exactly what you just said, your morality somehow changed in a year, that's ridiculous. Like, if you're not going to let him in, you're not going to let him in. But we all know you're going to eventually. Like, just stop this crap. Like, it really is crazy.
And I would not be surprised if when he does get in, that he doesn't even bother showing up and doesn't even do his acceptance speech.
Yeah. My father threw out an interesting theory of saying, is Robert Kraft behind it? Is Robert Kraft the one that's saying, and I don't know, I'm not going to say that I believe that this is the case, but he threw out an interesting theory of saying, is Robert Kraft the one behind it? Because Robert Kraft doesn't want to be inducted into the Hall of Fame the same year as Bill Belichick.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? Now, again, I'm not telling you that that's a likely scenario or anything of that nature.
Well, now let me ask you, can Brady be inducted next year or is it in 2 years?
I don't know the answer to that question. I should know the answer to that question, and I don't.
Because actually, like, also then while you're looking that up, also look up for Gronk.
2028. So
is when he can.
Right. So Brady retired in 2023, so he will be eligible in 2028. The 2026 finalists are going to be announced before the Super Bowl. So it's going to be 2 full years before Brady's eligible.
Okay. So and Vinatieri is eligible.
Is eligible now.
Gronk is not. I think Gronk might be then the same time as Brady in 2028 then.
I think I think Gronk and Brady retired at the same time.
So you can so there's going to be a few years here where it's going to be Patriot heavy for the Hall of Fame based on the dynasty that they had. Mm-hmm. So it is far-fetched on what your dad said, but at the same time, there is some legitimacy to it where, hey, if Robert Kraft is the first one from the dynasty inducted by himself, and then you have Belichick, then you have Vinatieri, then you have Brady, then you have Gronk, then it's showing, hey, I'm the one who orchestrated all of this.
Is Julian Edelman going to get in before Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? Because I think Julian Edelman...
Is Julian Edelman to you? I mean, I would have to look up his numbers because off the top of my head, Julian Edelman to me does not say Hall of Famer.
So Julian Edelman is eligible this year. Julian Edelman's eligible.
Okay. Is Julian Edelman more deserving of being in the Hall of Fame than guys like Reggie Wayne and Torrey Holt?
No. Absolutely not.
No. And neither of them are in the Hall of Fame yet. Honestly, as great as Julian Edelman's career was, and because he was in the midst of all that, I don't think, though, his stats are going to have him make the Hall of Fame. But that said, apparently But Bill Belichick's doesn't either, apparently. So what do I know? Apparently, you have to invent football in order to get into Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I was looking at this earlier. Torrey Holt's numbers are ridiculous. And he's not in the Hall of Fame?
Nope.
That is beyond.
Yeah. I mean, Terrell Owens had to wait however many years. He didn't get in his first ballot, where he absolutely should have.
Background clearly matters to the writers.
Yeah.
It clearly matters.
Which means that they shouldn't get votes then. Because all that matters is what's happening on the field.
Well, listen, baseball guys have been saying the same thing about Curt Schilling for years, right? Because I don't think anybody can even doubt that forget about his political beliefs, right? But more about just like how he treated the media during his playing career. Has it become so much of it matter? Like you have to suck up to the media in order for them to get to vote for you.
Right.
Like Curt Schilling's a Hall of Fame pitcher, 100%. Right. And I don't want to stray too far away from the Belichick conversation, but Curt Schilling's a Hall of Fame pitcher. But because people don't like him, he's not going to get in. I think that's crazy. So I don't know. Craziness.
You need people somehow, and I know it's just wishful thinking. You need people that are unbiased making these decisions.
I know. But listen, that's so hard to come by nowadays.
Right.
Too.
Well, which why I said it's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, within the next 5 to 6 years, your fans are going to be able to vote in the Hall of Fame by texting something, and then which will mean Shedeur Sanders will be a Hall of Famer in 2030.
Ronnie James going to be a Hall of Famer before. That's oh my gosh, I can't even wait for that. I mean, having a Hall of Fame vote means something.
Yeah.
If they just let anybody do it, I mean, I don't know. That would almost break my heart. As a sports media member myself, that would break my heart.
I mean, well, if you had magical powers to decide, hey, this is how we determine who makes the Hall of Fame each year, how would you determine it?
It's so hard for me to say because I really don't know what the right answer is. I really don't like. I'm
not asking for the right answer. I'm just asking for your answer.
Well, look, I mean, I think the system that's in place now is not necessarily broken just because we have people that we disagree with. But I don't know. I do think that there probably are areas of improvement. I honestly have not given it much thought of changes that I would make. It's just because I don't know what the answer would be to make it more fair, right? I just don't know what it would be. I mean, obviously, a lot of people have come up with the idea of like baseball, or not even just but sports writers that vote for the Hall of Fame have term limits like politicians, right? You can have your vote for this many years and then your term is up, right? I know that people have discussed that, and I don't know if that's good or if it isn't good, because I also think that having valued historians who have seen the game for a long time, I think having that vote means something. I think that actually is a part of it. You know what I mean? You can't just have a bunch of these 25 to 30 something year old people who have never seen, Len Dawson play,
right,
make all the decisions on who gets into the Hall of Fame. I just don't know that that's right. So I can't tell you what, like, if I had a genie in a bottle, what I would do to change the whole thing. I don't know if I would. I don't know. Do you have like a solution or an idea or anything about that?
Oh, you just put them on like an episode of the Weakest Link game show, and just whoever wins gets in. I think that would be the fairest way to do it at this point.
Put them on 1 versus 100, and then
yeah,
right. Survey says, you are a cheater. Anyway, let's go to break. Coming up next, we'll dive into some of the new head coaching hires that have happened in the last week. Joe Brady being promoted from offensive coordinator to head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Todd Monken being hired as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk about those two next.
Cowboys Nation, what up? It's your boy EJ Savage over here at Boys in the Zone, where it's everything Cowboys related, from the latest news, off-season talk like training camp and draft analysis, and of course, during season game breakdowns and commentary. Would love to see you in the chat kicking it with myself and other members of Cowboys Nation, whether it be a guest that I myself bring in, or Cowboys fan forum videos where I bring you guys on, or even other chat members. We're always live on Twitter and YouTube, talking the boys, so really, the only thing left to say is, how about them Cowboys? See you there. Peace.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Tim Barnett, and welcome into the Boston Sports Summit. If you're a fan of any of these 4 teams right here, or you're like me and you love all 4 of them, and you follow them religiously, you're a big fan, this is the show for you. The big thing with this is real commentary and authenticity. I'm going to tell you like it is. If we're great, then we're great. But if we suck, I'm going to tell you that we suck and we need to improve. I'm also not afraid to call out our ownership or front office for making bad decisions, just like I'm not afraid to call out our coaches or our players for screwing some things up or doing great. All right? Because that's what this show is all about. It's about authenticity. So listen, if you're a fan of any of these teams or you're a fan of all 4 of them, check me out, the Boston Sports Summit, every Wednesday, live at 7 p.m., and it's electric, all right? We're going to go into some great detail about the Sox, Patriots, Celtics, and even the Bruins, and hey, you might even get a guest appearance from my little puppy here. So, it's a great show. Don't forget to tune in every Wednesday, 7 p.m. You can also follow me on all socials, on Instagram, X, and YouTube, Boston Sports Summit. So check us out. It's a great show. It's a great time. Hope to see you there. God bless.
What's going on, y'all? It's Arthur Hurst from the Grid Network, letting y'all know to check out the Saturday morning tailgate starting at 10 Eastern every Saturday. Check us out on YouTube, X, Instagram, wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in for some humor, some great analytics between me, my boy Bryson, and Tim. Again, Saturday morning tailgate every Saturday at 10 Eastern on the Grid Network. See y'all there.
All righty. Great to have you back here on Mike and Josh. Episode 10, Josh. This is a milestone for us.
We're growing up so fast.
We are.
It's amazing. We've reached 10. Thanks to all of you for continuing to tune in and subscribe and share and all that good stuff. Please continue to spread the word because I got some news for you. We don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Mm-hmm. And we want to get older and older with all of you. Because we're already old people. I mean, especially me. Well, you're actually a kid. I'm an old man.
Depends on what you define. It depends on what kid means, but I suppose in some instances, in some contexts, I could be.
Are there any NFL coaches younger than you?
Ooh, no.
No, there isn't. Therefore, you're a kid.
Well, listen, I'm. I guess I'm too young to be president still. So
you're definitely a kid then. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting AARP letters in the mail at this rate. I don't know why.
Yeah, is it coming around that time, Josh? You ready to call it quits?
Am I ready to hang it up? I mean, like I said, the over/under was 2.5 episodes. We somehow reached 10. I've gone way beyond my because I bet a lot on the under, and I.
Yeah. Well, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint. But, all right, we have plenty of stuff to go over today. By the way, hour number 2 is going to be just as packed as hour number 1. Except it's going to be a lot more NBA, right? Because Giannis is probably going to get traded. We'll talk about that as well. But here's the thing. This NFL coaching carousel season has really been quite something. A lot of shakeup, right? And that's the word I think a lot of people are using is shakeup. Mike Tomlin is gone. John Harbaugh was gone. Sean McDermott gone, like Kevin Stefanski gone. And a lot of guys that you thought were pretty secure in their jobs have now moved on to different jobs now, right? John Harbaugh now coaching the Giants. Kevin Stefanski is now in Atlanta. Apparently, Sean McDermott and Mike Tomlin are both going to take the year off from coaching this year or this coming year. And we had 2 brand new hires. One of them was kind of uneventful, but I also think it was the right move. So Joe Brady was elevated from the Bills offensive coordinator to their head coach. I kind of think he's 36 years old. He's a young guy.
Yep.
Younger than you. That's the barometer we're using, right? But I mean, you want to talk about like the potential Kyle Shanahan's, Sean McVay's, like these kind of young blueprint, innovative offensive minds. I always felt like Joe Brady was the guy next in line to be that coach. Mm-hmm. And I thought he did a wonderful job with the Bills as their offensive coordinator. Now going to upgrade to head coach. I am all for this, Josh. I think Joe Brady getting the job here is about as good as you're going to do in Buffalo.
I mean, does the guy deserve at this point to get a head coaching opportunity? Yes, he does. My question with all of it is, if you felt the Sean McDermott scheme wasn't working to get over the hump, mm-hmm. Well, someone that learned from Sean McDermott, mm-hmm. Is that the right answer, or is that just still kind of more the same? Yeah. That's where I'm going with it. And in addition with that, there was a mention earlier, I think today, where he mentioned, Joe Brady mentioned that, Keon Coleman is going to stay here. I'm very high on him, and we're going to like keep him as a Bill. And it's just like, well, your boss says otherwise. Schefter tweeted about an hour ago that Joe Brady expressed support for wide receiver Keon Coleman, stating that, and I quote, Keon Coleman is going to be a Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
So you're already starting off with a disagreement of some kind behind what we just saw in that press conference a week ago and our new coach. So I'm just concerned that this is just rinse repeat for Buffalo, and it just doesn't seem like this is the step that they needed to make when you're saying we can't get over the hump. I would see Joe Brady getting the coaching job elsewhere, and then you bring in someone who has not been under that McDermott umbrella to then try to make them take that last step.
Yeah, I think really, here's the thing. Here's the reason why I like it, is I think that Joe Brady having more control in the organization is a good thing for them. I really do. I think that Sean McDermott, listen, if it were me, I wouldn't have fired Sean McDermott.
Sure.
But I think if you were going to do something like this, right, if you were going to fire Sean McDermott and you weren't going to go and grab John Harbaugh and you weren't going to go and grab Mike Tomlin or something along those lines, I think that Joe Brady is a solid pickup, because I think that Joe Brady there's an opportunity for Joe Brady to be more than what he is in a head coaching role rather than being strapped to offensive coordinator. Plus, keep in mind, I mean, he's worked up under a lot of really good people, Joe Brady, right? Joe Brady was the mastermind behind what I think could possibly be the greatest college football team of all time with the 2019 LSU team, right? He worked under Sean Payton. Like, this guy clearly knows what he's doing. He clearly has a mind for the offensive side of the football. Now, if you want to try his hand at motivating men and implementing his own culture, his own work habits, his own, like, that's really what I think this goes beyond. I think this really this shows you what the Bills think of him as an actual leader rather than just a play caller, right? Like, that's really, I think, the big difference here. So I don't know. I'm a fan of the move. I do think that the NFL is trending towards these younger, presumably player-friendly guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is, if the Bills want to try their hand at this with this iteration, and there's obviously not a more talented quarterback that you could have at the helm than Josh Allen, then I think it's more than worth it to give it a whirl. So that's me. But let's move to Todd Monken.
You want to talk about player friendly?
Yeah. This one.
Oh boy.
This one. Oh boy. Off guard. So he spent the last 3 years as the offensive coordinator in Baltimore. He now moves to Cleveland. I didn't even think his name was on the agenda. I really didn't think that he was ever going to get an opportunity anywhere. First impression, Josh, firing Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland to hire Todd Monken.
Cleveland loves drama. Because I agree with the thought of, okay, whoever you're bringing in would probably have been a former offensive coordinator. I get that because your defense is stellar, and obviously you need, another mind for the offensive side of the ball. You call up your rival and ask the coordinator, who has progressively gotten worse over the last 3 years, hey, you want to come over to us?
Right.
Meanwhile, your defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, who is loved by the team, doesn't get the opportunity. And you bring in a guy from Baltimore, and now Schwartz is furious. And now there are like trickles of rumors talking about that he might potentially just leave the team.
I always thought Jim Schwartz was a guy that would get another shot somewhere.
Right, and based on the work that he's done in Cleveland to make them, while they didn't have many wins, they were competitive in many of their games this year solely from the defense.
Yeah, right.
And he had what's going to be the Defensive Player of the Year and the Defensive Rookie of the Year on your team.
One of the best defensive players of all time, I think.
Right. So I'm surprised, too, he hasn't ever gotten another shot. This would have made sense if they wanted to go with a defensive coordinator as the head coach. So again, if they want to go offensive coordinator, I get them not going with Schwartz. But to go to in-division rival who has gotten worse as the years go on, who is, I think demanding is a good word to describe him.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind. This is where I thought Joe Brady could have ended up.
Yeah. Right.
Because have that fresh mindset over there.
Listen, you said last week Sean McDermott.
Right.
Before Sean McDermott apparently was going to take the year off, you were saying, listen, that's a spot where he could land. And
if he wanted to show what he could do, because he brought Buffalo back from irrelevance and made him relevant again, maybe he tries to do it in Cleveland. Obviously, that's not happening, and I just don't get this move, and I don't get what Cleveland's trying to do. I mean, is their mindset thinking, oh, well, we saw what you are able to do with Lamar when he's healthy. Mm-hmm. Do that to Shador, or try to revitalize Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, right.
Because that's not the right strategy.
No. And here's the thing, too, is that, like, this is a team that needed more than anything else. They need stability.
Yeah.
You think Todd Monken is the guy to bring stability? I mean, this is like this felt like John Dorsey era Cleveland Browns, right? Mm-hmm. Like the whole hard-nosed, chewing, 7 sticks of gum at one time. Like, I don't know. It just felt very, I don't know. I don't even know what to call this. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. And Todd Monken's been around for a long time. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's been coaching for a long time with no breaks. I mean, this guy has been around the block for many years. But I don't know. I will say, though, it is interesting that this is his first head coaching job in the NFL. That is crazy.
So how many years has Monken been in the league as a coordinator?
So as a coordinator, he has been – so his first NFL job as a coordinator was in 2016 in Tampa. He spent 3 years in Tampa, 1 year in Cleveland in 2019 as their offensive coordinator, then spent 3 years at Georgia, and then the last 3 years in Baltimore as their offensive.
So he went back to college as a coordinator.
As a coordinator and a quarterbacks coach for Georgia under Kirby Smart.
So if you had a run in the NFL as a coordinator and never got a shot as a head coach to the point where you went back to college but couldn't get a job as a head coach in college.
Right.
Of course it's Cleveland that thinks, okay, now he can be a coach.
There's two teams that could make that decision. The Cleveland Browns
and the New York Jets.
Oh,
well, and speaking of coaches and coordinators with the Jets, so Aaron Glenn, like from what I've heard, he just has the ability to get rid of everyone that he brought on. Is that what's happened over there?
Mm-hmm. Cleaning house. Something ain't working.
Oh, and it's not himself apparently.
Clearly, no.
It can't be him.
Listen, according to Woody Johnson, is if you had a quarterback that could complete a pass, then they'd be flying high right now. There's one more that I want to bring up that we have not talked about yet, and that's Mike McCarthy. Okay.
Oh God, yes, I forgot about him.
So there's really one thing I want to say about Mike McCarthy. all the Steeler fans that were dying to let Mike Tomlin leave. Mike McCarthy's your new head coach. Oh, my goodness. What?
There was a tweet that summed this up in one sentence. Switching Mike Tomlin for Mike McCarthy was the equivalent of crapping your pants and then changing your shirt. Because that's exactly what this is.
Oh my
there is no change. It's defensive guy who's just mediocre coach, and you switch him to offensive guy who's mediocre coach and can't advance. But both are living off that one Super Bowl from over 15 years ago.
Listen, I wouldn't call Mike Tomlin a mediocre coach. I think Mike Tomlin's a very good football coach.
I'm talking about record-wise.
But you're right. You're right. And our good buddy Bryson Carver has made the concerted effort to make all the comparisons and all of that. I commend him for it. Here's the thing. Here's how I really feel about this, okay? And I can laugh all I want. And while it is funny because I have seen Mike McCarthy firsthand with the Cowboys, I have seen people crap on him. I've seen all the drama with Aaron Rodgers. I've seen all of that, okay? I think, really, and I'm not going to say that it's 100% likely, but I do think that there's a reality that we can live in where Mike McCarthy crushes in Pittsburgh. I really do believe that. There is a storybook ending to this story that exists somewhere, okay? Hometown, right? Team he grew up watching, team he grew up a fan of. Mike McCarthy looks like a Pittsburgh Steeler head coach. This, to me, has a shot at turning out very, very well for Pittsburgh. In all seriousness, all jokes aside. Now, I do think it is hysterical that the Steeler fans that were dying for change from Mike Tomlin are now running out a retread of Mike McCarthy. But I do think that there's a possibility that this could turn out to be a home run. I'm being dead serious.
Well, with that, now, do you think that Aaron Rodgers will come back now and have one more run with his old coach that he won a Super Bowl with? And even better, will he give a decision before the NFL draft?
He will not give a decision before the NFL draft. Listen, I thought there was a possibility of him coming back even without Mike McCarthy there. But no, I don't.
I hope for the Steelers' sake he does not.
But here's the thing. Like, if he doesn't, who plays quarterback for the Steelers next year?
Will Howard.
Does Will Howard start next year?
I think you drafted him to try, learn a year from Aaron Rodgers, see what he does. If he bombs, well, that means then you end up with a better draft pick and in a much deeper quarterback class next year, then you could pick someone then.
They become the Arch Manning landing spot.
Well, that depends on where they bomb, because I don't see them being the number one pick in the NFL draft. I already have a prediction.
That belongs to the New York Jets.
No. I think next year, based on the news that broke about an hour ago, or 2 hours ago, excuse me, I think that's going to the Miami Dolphins, because Dan Graziano tweeted that Nathaniel Hackett is joining Jeff Hafley's coaching staff as Miami's quarterback coach.
They really are going to assemble.
Miami is getting ready for the number one draft pick in 2027.
They will. Oh, God. They are putting together quite possibly the worst coaching staff of all time.
Right.
Now, listen, Mike McCarthy didn't hire Nathaniel Hackett.
Is that a win for the Steelers then, right?
I mean, that's like, you know, if you were curious of whether or not Aaron
I can't believe an NFL team still hired Nathaniel Hackett.
I can't believe that either. But like Nathaniel Hackett is essentially Josh McDaniels. Like that's who he
The
is.
Timu, Josh McDaniels, is that what he is?
Well, I mean, yeah, sort of, in a way. Josh McDaniels is a fine offensive coordinator, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But as a head coach, he has been an absolute train wreck everywhere he's been.
Right.
So that's how I view it. I just view Nathaniel Hackett in a similar light than Josh McDaniels.
So I'm already in ink putting Miami Dolphins with a number 1 pick in the 2027 draft.
Yeah. There's still 2 open spots, by the way, Josh, for NFL head coaches.
Yes.
The Oakland Raiders, I shouldn't say the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. I can't believe it's been this many years and I still get it wrong. Las Vegas Raiders and the Arizona Cardinals still have not hired a head coach. There was apparently a report that a coach backed out of the Raider job.
Davis Webb.
It was Davis Webb.
Davis Webb. Schefter tweeted this about an hour ago. Broncos passing game coordinator Davis Webb is withdrawing from consideration from the Raiders head coaching job. And he previously interviewed with the Raiders, Bills, and Ravens. So he didn't get the Bills or Ravens and decided, I'm going to stick with Denver.
Wow.
So it's essentially one of those teams, the Cardinals or the Raiders, one of them is going to get Kubiak from Seattle, and the other is stuck.
Yeah, right. Right. So, I mean, listen, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But, all right, we go into hour number 2, talking a little bit of NBA. That's coming up next.
What up, Cowboys Nation? We are Cowboys Can Fan.
You know, like Canadian fan. And we're big Dallas Cowboy fans. We live stream every Dallas Cowboys game with our unapologetic, intoxicated play-by-play and color commentary, and we guarantee you won't find anything like this anywhere else. We do that in the ring together?
We told you not so bland was here to stay, baby.
And if you like to have a couple cold ones.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. Crack 'em if you got 'em.
And watch the Dallas Cowboys play football.
You need to join us 1 hour before the Cowboys kick off. Throw your score prediction in our live chat. And if you're right, guess what? We'll send you a shirt. Some Can Fan merch. Click the link, check us out, and subscribe if you like what we do.
Oh, and remember, BYOB.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Bring your own boosh.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Bryson Carver, and I'm the host of the Carving It Up podcast right here on the Grid Network, as well as my own personal YouTube channel, Carving It Up with Bryson Carver. On my show, talk about a number of the biggest topics in the world of sports, as well as culture and entertainment, and I include special segments such as Bryson's Best 10, The Ball View, and one of my favorites, Carving Up the Context. I also like to invite special guests on the show to get different insights and perspectives on topics, and most importantly, I love to hear from you, the audience, in the chat below. So check out Carving It Up 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Facebook, X, and on Instagram. Check the show out anywhere you get your podcasts as well as on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys.
Alex Rodriguez is coming out with a documentary, and it goes into detail. Like, he's never talked about the steroid part of it and all the pressure. You will do a lot more desperate things to try to stay relevant, and you can see that he was straining to be this person that he wasn't, instead of just being the person that he always should have been. Just, I'm Alex Rodriguez, because of imposter syndrome. He had to be somebody that he wasn't. Goes to the Yankees, gets another big fucking contract. I empathize with that, because when you're this great player and people are looking at you and they're looking through you, it makes you realize that maybe Alex doesn't matter. I have to be A-Rod.
Yo, this is Barry Grant Jr. I want to give a big shout out to Mike and Josh, and be on the lookout for more clips from All Even Podcast.
This is Patrick L. Brown, lead journalist here at the Grid Network, reminding you to make sure that you check out all of the latest articles over on the Grid's webpage under the blog section. There you will find the hottest takes in sports, mixed in with some mental health articles as well. Dare to be different? Enter the Grid, your new leaders in digital media, sports, and entertainment. As I always say, stay tuned.
You are listening to Mike Guido and Josh Tariff. Buckle up! Buckle up!
All right, here we go. Hour number 2 on Mike and Josh.
Mike and Josh.
Fire on the Grid Network.
Mike and Josh.
It is
Mike
great
and Josh.
to have you here. Hey, Josh.
Oh, hey there. How's it going?
Hey there, pal.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Great to have you here. I'm Mike Guido. That's Josh Tariff. Episode number 10 of Mike and Josh.
Wow.
Exclusively.
We've done it. We've
on
done
the
it.
Grid Network. It is, like I said, great to have you here. Plenty of stuff to still go over today. Super Bowl Sunday is set. Josh Tariff, Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots, set to play in about a week and a half. So we will have another show before Super Bowl Sunday, but we have the matchup. We have all the time to cover the game itself. I'm sure we're going to be covering it a lot next week as well, as that is the big story. That is the big sports event of the year, of the calendar year. No other bigger sports day than Super Bowl Sunday. So we will be talking about that next week. Coming up in about 15 or so minutes, as we head into hour number 2, you live in Los Angeles, Josh.
This is true.
And the Clippers have been, might I say, a joke for
a little bit.
And recently they have been not a joke. So we got to kind of figure that out with whatever the hell they're doing. So we will discuss that coming up in about 15 or so minutes. Let's begin hour 2 with this, even though we're about 23 minutes past 8 o'clock, which is when hour 2 is supposed to start. But here we are. Giannis. It is starting to look more and more likely that Giannis is going to be traded from the Milwaukee Bucks. And listen, this was something that we talked about a number of weeks ago, Josh, where we were kind of coming up with scenarios of where Giannis could go if he were to be traded. This was about the time where we weren't sure of what was happening. Now we're kind of getting a little bit better of an idea. Shams Charania coming out with the report saying that the Bucks are now listening to offers. They are taking offers on Giannis Antetokounmpo. So what happens now is Giannis, let me just pose the question to you this way.
Mm-hmm.
Are we sure now that Giannis is getting traded?
Yes.
So we're sure about that.
I think it's a definite that he gets traded. If not before the deadline, certainly in the offseason.
Yeah, I think we can pretty much pencil that in. And like we've talked about, we already came up with some fits a number of weeks ago, right? The Spurs we thought were a fit.
Yep.
The Thunder we thought were a fit. Now we're hearing a lot of motion about the Miami Heat potentially, which I must say, if it's the Miami Heat, that would be the most boring outcome of all time. Can you come up with a more anticlimactic destination for Giannis than the Miami Heat? I don't know that you can. The Heat are such a boring team to me. I'm sorry if you're a Heat fan. I really am sorry. But God, do they bore me. I don't know. I'd be so disappointed if Giannis got traded to Miami.
I honestly, I don't see Miami being able to do it just because I feel like the only way Miami could potentially do it is if they included Bam Adebayo, and you're not including Bam Adebayo.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think
you want to put Giannis with Bam Adebayo.
Exactly. So I don't see Milwaukee agreeing with Miami. A lot of the talk right now is also with Golden State. In the thoughts of, because Kuminga desperately wants out of there. He's been wanting out of there for like over a year now.
Kuminga has no market.
Correct.
Mike Dunleavy,
but he doesn't have a market because they're not playing him to let him try to have a market.
Yeah, they are kind of letting him rot.
Right. A little bit. So there's thought of Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, who knows when he'll be back next year, and they do have a bunch of picks coming up. Mm-hmm. So would they be willing to make the move? Because then you essentially have your future plan of having Giannis there for Steph, in the next few years. He would eventually retire, and then it officially becomes Giannis's team. I just did one during the break, through Fanspo just for fun to try to see, for a team that's doing much better than anticipated, would they be willing to try to pull his trigger and try to win right now? And that's Detroit.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, I through Fanspo, I successfully made a trade that sends Giannis and his brother, Thanius, because, they have to travel together.
Thanius? I think it's Thanasis, but...
No, it's Thanius. We're going with Thanius. Oh. He has to earn that extra A in the name.
Okay.
I also can't read good. So
good numbers, not good words?
Correct. So apparently Fanspo allows the two of them to be traded to Detroit in exchange for Ausar Thompson, Tobias Harris, Karis LeVert, unprotected 2026 first, unprotected 2030 first, and their 2027 second round pick that they already got from Milwaukee and are giving back.
Wow.
So that gives them, that gives them a couple more, first round picks, a good young prospect in Thompson, and then contracts to clear in Tobias and Karis LeVert to then that's how you begin your rebuild.
Yeah. Is that enough? I just don't know if that's enough.
The big thing with Milwaukee is they are not going to get a star in return.
No. I agree. The package they have to get back. Okay, and this is just the way that NBA trades work. They have to get back a slew of picks.
Yep.
And probably a bad contract or two. Right? Just to make the money work. So as unfair as it seems, the Bucks are not going to be able to trade Giannis and get everything positive in return. They will have to take on some unwanted, overextended Robert Covington-ish contract for Giannis. It's just going to have to happen.
But I think there could be a couple now very, very, very long shot possibilities of them getting a young talent to build around in this trade. I know we talked about with the Thunder way back. I'm what if they did just Jalen Williams to have him be the centerpiece there? Another one that honestly I think could get more traction than it should. And I'm very much on the fence with this for personal reasons.
Magic.
There are talks of Paolo not being happy in Orlando.
Really?
Of him being growing unhappiness with their Magic's coach Mosley. What if they did some type of trade where then there wouldn't be many picks that have to be involved in it because Paolo is certainly a centerpiece.
Yeah.
What if all of a sudden Paolo went to Milwaukee and with some package and Giannis came to Orlando?
Yeah.
Again, I'm not sure if I want that. As a Magic fan, I'm torn with that.
Yeah.
Because I love Paolo. But if he's growing frustration, the last thing we want is to send him to LA. Because that's what we always do with our star players who grow frustrated.
Right.
So
not
at least
any names, but his name rhymes with Mac.
And fight as well. So if we can get a top player that's in the league now, if we're thinking win now, well then we attempt it. The issue is how many picks will we have to give as well, because we just gave a slew of picks for Desmond Bane, who is doing great, by the way, but we already gave a bunch of picks for that. We can't give a bunch of picks for this, too.
Yeah, right. You'd be mortgaging everything you have on what you'd be able to get now. And so the team that gets thrown around the most in this conversation, at least right now, and we haven't touched on it yet, is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they have been brought up a lot. Giannis would be a very interesting fit next to Anthony Edwards. I think that's a very curious personality mix.
Yep.
I don't know how that would work. I don't know if the trade is even possible. I would imagine it would have to be, Gobert or Randall or...
You're definitely including Randall since they play the same position.
Yeah, I mean, you would think.
Yeah.
But then what else is there to dump, in order
Conley.
Yeah, well, and again, that's how trades work. I mean, Conley is certainly an expiring contract and an expiring player.
Yep.
But you got to have some pieces on top of that to give away. I mean, I'm assuming Rob Dillingham would be part of that. Does Jane McDaniels become part of that?
Right.
How much would you be willing to sacrifice?
And how many picks? Giannis? And how many picks are they willing to give up? Since they gave up so many to get Gobert in the first place,
right? And they gave up 4 first-round picks to get Gobert. So non-consecutive, by the way, and that's really the tough part about trades in the NBA, right? You got to make the money work. You're not allowed to trade consecutive first-round picks. So if you trade your 2026, you can't trade your 2027.
Yep.
Right? If you trade your 2027, you can't trade your 2028.
You can offer a swap for it, but you cannot trade it altogether.
Exactly.
Now let me throw this at you. Is there anything left that Milwaukee could do to keep Giannis?
I don't know. I mean, I just think Milwaukee's roster is in such rough shape now.
Because you tried to switch the coach, and that failed miserably.
That was such
You brought in Dame Lillard. That didn't work. Now, granted, he got hurt.
I know what they were trying to do with trying to upgrade from Mike Budenholzer, but I never understood getting rid of Mike Budenholzer for Doc Rivers.
Well, they did. They got rid of Mike Budenholzer for Adrian Griffin, who did great, and then they got rid of him for Doc Rivers.
Right. So, I'm looking at this now. I just don't know where they go from here. I really don't. Right? Like, this Bucks team is just not that good. It's not that deep.
No.
Right? I mean, Kyle Kuzma, Miles Turner. Miles Turner, by the way, who you just signed, Bobby Portis, who's been there for a long time. I mean, there just really isn't much here.
I mean, right now they're the 7th worst team in the NBA.
I would go as far to say even that the Bucks should trade Giannis.
I agree.
I think this is getting to the point where forget about trying to keep him. Like, now you've got to really focus on figuring out what you can get for him and figure out what you can get for everybody else too. Mm-hmm. I would be looking into trading Kyle Kuzma. I'd be looking into trading, Kevin Porter Jr. I'd be looking into trading some of these guys that might have some value just to get some sort of rebuild material, right? And listen, the Bucks cannot be viewed as a failure. Or as no,
they won a championship.
They won a championship. It worked. Giannis with Chris Middleton and Brooke Lopez and Drew Holiday, it worked. It won you a chip. Okay, championships are hard to come by in the NBA, especially now when, I mean, stardom is not even as big of a thing now as it was then when it was LeBron and Kobe and Tim Duncan winning all the championships. That's not really what the case is anymore. Okay, so this is an interesting spot for the Bucks to be in, and rebuilding in the NBA is a pain, and it takes forever because it really does matter if you land that big player, right? If you land that guy that can potentially turn into a star. That's how that's how that league works.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I think, like, if you hang on to Giannis too long, you turn into the Clippers, right? You turn into a team that gets too old, that has no direction, that's not getting any better. That's kind of what I think the Bucks are heading towards if they don't make a move like that.
Well, then let me ask you this, because the NBA trade deadline is a week from today.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise, how confident are you that by the time we are on the air next week, Giannis is on a new team?
75%. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. And like I said, you agreed with me in that sense of, like, Giannis is going to get traded. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you said also that there's a possibility of him getting traded in the offseason. Do you think he's traded by next week?
I'm leaning slightly towards yes, but not nearly as. I'm going to go like 55% he's traded, because I think Milwaukee is going to be asking for more than what teams are willing to offer.
Maybe more. I mean, I could see a world where Milwaukee is asking for more than what teams have. Like, Milwaukee is going to have limited trade partners. Now,
Right.
I still think a deal gets done, but they're going to have limited trade partners just because the amount of things that they'll want back, only a few teams are going to be able to provide.
Mm-hmm.
And Giannis doesn't want to go to a loser, right? Like, Giannis doesn't want to go to the Hornets. He doesn't want to go to Brooklyn. Like, I'm sure he wants to go to a winner, a legit winner. So, of the winners, of the teams that have legitimate title aspirations, or with Giannis would, I mean, that chops the league in half at least. So,
I think it chops out about 2/3.
Yeah, right.
Because you're realistically looking on the East. You're gonna, like Detroit, New York, Boston, Toronto, Orlando, Miami, because they're somehow still in that conversation. But again, I don't see Miami then becoming a title contender with that in him. The rest could. And then in the West, you have OKC, Spurs, Rockets, Wolves, Warriors. I don't see how Denver could make a move, because that would just also be disgusting.
Jokic is out for the year. It's not happening.
Right. So yeah, we're really down to roughly 8 to 10 teams that could potentially be worth it.
And then
for Giannis, and then the question is, would it be worth it for the Bucks organization?
Right. Of those teams, which of those teams will actually be able to put together a package that'll entice the Bucks enough to allow them to let him go? Do you want to make a prediction?
As far as what team he goes to?
Yeah, make a prediction of if he does get traded. Let's just say he does.
Okay.
Where does he land?
So if he gets traded in the next week, I'm torn between two teams, honestly.
Okay.
If he gets traded next week, he's going to be going west. He will not stay in the East.
I agree.
And he will end up either a Warrior or a Rocket.
A Rocket would be interesting. I really think that there's steam to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that there's something there. Like, I would say if I had to put money on a destination today.
And we know how great you are in putting money on things, because you did that all with your playoff picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm rich now. I would say Minnesota is the spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they make that trade work, but they're interested for a reason.
Yep.
And that might be, I mean, listen, they might just be like, you know what? Screw it all. it doesn't matter what we give up. As long as we keep Anthony Edwards, we're just going to run it with Anthony Edwards and Giannis until Giannis's legs fall off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and in the West, in the NBA, that's not a bad strategy.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yep.
So, all right. We'll be back after this. Have the Clippers actually figured it out? It can't be. Can't be, Josh. There's no way. There's no way they figured it out. That's coming up next.
Cowboys Nation, what up? It's your boy EJ Savage over here at Boys in the Zone, where it's everything Cowboys related, from the latest news, off-season talk like training camp and draft analysis, and of course, during season game breakdowns and commentary. Would love to see you in the chat kicking it with myself and other members of Cowboys Nation, whether it be a guest that I myself bring in, or Cowboys fan forum videos where I bring you guys on, or even other chat members. We're always live on Twitter and YouTube talking the boys, so really the only thing left to say is, how about them Cowboys? See you there. Peace.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Tim Barnett, and welcome into the Boston Sports Summit. If you're a fan of any of these four teams right here, or you're like me and you love all four of them and you follow them religiously, you're a big fan, this is the show for you. The big thing with this is real commentary and authenticity. I'm going to tell you like it is. If we're great, then we're great. But if we suck, I'm going to tell you that we suck and we need to improve. I'm also not afraid to call out our ownership or front office for making bad decisions, just like I'm not afraid to call out our coaches or our players for screwing some things up or doing great. All right? Because that's what this show is all about. It's about authenticity. So listen, if you're a fan of any of these teams or you're a fan of all four of them, check me out, the Boston Sports Summit, every Wednesday, live at 7 p.m., and it's electric, all right? We're going to go into some great detail about the Sox, Patriots, Celtics, and even the Bruins, and hey, you might even get a guest appearance from my little puppy here. So, it's a great show. Don't forget to tune in every Wednesday, 7 p.m. You can also follow me on all socials, on Instagram, X, and YouTube, Boston Sports Summit. So check us out. It's a great show. It's a great time. Hope to see you there. God bless.
What's going on, y'all? It's Arthur Hurst from the Grid Network, letting y'all know to check out the Saturday morning tailgate starting at 10 Eastern every Saturday. Check us out on YouTube, X, Instagram, wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in for some humor, some great analytics between me, my boy Bryson, and Tim. Again, Saturday morning tailgate every Saturday at 10 Eastern on the Grid Network. See y'all there.
All righty, here we go. We are back here on the Grid Network. It's Mike and Josh. That's Josh Tariff. I'm Mike Guido. It's great to have you here. Josh, I remember early on in our days, we had this graphic where we made fun of the Clippers.
Yeah.
Now, on December 6th, talks began of as the graphic says, talks began of completely blowing the team up and finding trade suitors for Kawhi, Harden, Collins, and or Zubats. And since December 20th, which is 2 weeks later, post that date, December 20th, they are 16-3.
Mm-hmm.
They have been remarkable for a month or so.
Yes.
What is happening with the Clippers now?
They've remembered that the season started? Well, for one thing, Kawhi is healthy. And Kawhi is playing out of his mind. Over the last 20 games, Kawhi is, I just had it in front of me. Where is it? Kawhi is averaging 29.3 points a game, 6.5 boards, just under 4 assists, and 2 steals per game. And so having a healthy Kawhi shows, hey, he aspires to play well. We can say there. And the team has responded. So combination of him being healthy, Chris Paul leaving the team, and just really becoming the complete laughingstock of the NBA, all of a sudden, everyone has flipped the script. Zubac obviously is continuing to play well. John Collins has turned it back up. And Brook Lopez has played well. And now even some of their younger guys are, getting some playing time with it also. And they're just not losing. And then their next few games were also against very winnable players. They're playing, I just had this up, and of course it went away. Here it is. Their next 3 games involve playing Utah, who is without Keontae, the Nuggets with no Jokic and no Gordon, and the Suns with no Devin Booker and no Jalen Green. So all of a sudden, they could very well be 19-3, potentially. All right, maybe they drop one of those, so 18-4, and now they're right in the thick of it as far as being in the play-in bracket. They're currently one game out of the 9 seed. They have a spot right now, but they keep this up. Let's say they remain in this play-in bracket and end up being, the 7 or 8 seed head into the playoffs.
Right.
If you're playing like this, you're worried about playing them in the first round.
Yeah, you are.
I don't care if it's a Thunder or Spurs. You're still concerned with how all of a sudden this team is clicking. Now, mind you, this team is still constantly talking about trading away players.
Yeah.
There's still all the talk about trading Zubac.
Because that's what they do. That's what they do. They talk about moving guys. I mean, the roster never stays the same, right? It's always about, what other savvy vet can we add to this roster? And that's usually what they do.
And I like how you mentioned that as far as add a savvy vet, not thinking of draft picks, not thinking of building.
No.
How can we get older?
It is a miracle that some of their young players have played as well as they have, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Miller, Kobe Sanders, Yannick Conan Niederhauser, among others, right? I mean, they have gotten really solid production out of some of their younger guys. Now, I also think that it is without question the biggest reason why they are succeeding is because they are getting really great production and great play out of Kawhi, right?
Yep.
Like that's really the big thing. Kawhi, when healthy, is still one of the better players in the NBA. Like that guy is still really, really good on both sides of the ball. one of the best mid-range games I've ever seen. Complete lockdown defender. That is a real thing. And listen, when Kawhi is able to lead and Harden is able to follow, it kind of works a little bit. Now, that's not to say that everything is going to continue to click. I still think that there's a really a real possibility that the Clippers just completely bottom out at some point. They get hot for a month, right? And then reality kicks in.
Well, apparently this month was good enough to get Lawrence Frank an extension.
Yeah.
The guy that everyone is saying, why does he still have a job, just got on to stay longer because of this hot streak they've been on.
Yeah.
Tyronn Lue is probably going to save his job.
Yeah.
And Clipper fans are not good. You know, on one hand, they're happy, you know, that they're playing well, but on the same time, they're realizing, wait, this means nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
And they desperately need change.
Yeah. Well, and that's the part of this that I think is going to get lost, is that the Clippers still aren't good. Like, I shouldn't say they're not good. They're not a championship contender.
No.
I'm not going to go as far as
you look at those top teams in the West. I mean, they can't light a candle to that.
They're not as good as Oklahoma City. They're not as good as Houston. They're not as good as San Antonio. They're not as good as the Lakers. Like, they're just not as good as those teams.
Yeah.
Especially, by the way, if Giannis gets traded west, it won't be to them. Right?
No.
I mean, it could be because
they don't have draft picks to trade, so it ain't going to be the Clippers.
It's probably not going to be the Clippers. But then one of those West teams gets even better.
Yep.
So does this just prolong the mediocreness, the mediocrity? I don't even know why I made up a word for mediocre. The mediocrity of the Clippers. Does this just prolong that, Josh?
Honestly, this run, in my opinion, is the true nightmare for Clipper fans. Because they would have rather of them continue to have been abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you would have got rid of the coach, you would have got rid of the GM, you would have cleaned house, so you can start anew. If they continue this pace, and let's say they pull off what Ty Lue said back around that time in December, where he's like, we're going to end up being like a 500 team. We're going to get to 41 wins. If they get there or get close to it, let's say they end with like 37, 38 wins.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to think, oh, well, we just got off to a slow start, but we showed that we can do it. So let's run it back and do it again.
Right.
And that will be terrible.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
But like you said, here's the thing, Josh. Like you said, the trade deadline's next week.
Mm-hmm. Does Zubac get moved in a week?
No.
Which is probably a mistake.
It's not.
It's probably a mistake.
It is. Well, of course it's a mistake. But there's like the Clippers organization, obviously since they extended Lawrence Frank and they're seeing all of this happen, the Clippers are finally seeing, oh my God, it's working. It's coming to fruition. There is a less than zero chance that they give up on it. There's less than zero. They're not going to do a single thing.
I think they still will do. I think there's still a chance. But I'm with you on the fact that, they're not going to look at it, because there was reports that came out that the Celtics offered Anthony Simons a first and a pick swap for Zubac, and the Clippers said, no, we don't need these picks. We don't need a solid young role-playing guard. So because of that, I'm going to give it a 10% chance. I still think someone could wow them. I brought up the example of the Pacers a few weeks ago. If the Pacers were to do something with multiple picks and Mathurin, I think that could potentially make them dump Zubac. But if they said no to what the Celtics offered, that's why it's such a low percentage chance.
I still think they buy. I do. I think they buy. They will take whatever scraps they have left laying around and offer it out to grab a shooter or something. Like I'm telling you, Josh, they will buy. The deadline next week, if they're playing well now, they will completely buy in and they will try to add to this roster. I'm telling you now.
And that's just terrifying because it's probably going to happen.
Right.
By the way, real quick, because I know as we're getting ready to wrap up our show this week, I did want to mention one other team that is kind of out of nowhere, because this got brought onto my computer this morning. I want to give a moment of love to the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
Because they have won 7 of their last 10. They are now definitely within reach of getting into the play-in. And listen to this, courtesy of at Opta Stats. Listen to this stat about the Hornets for the month of January. In January, the Hornets on the road beat the Thunder by 27. That alone is a crazy stat in itself. Beat the Thunder by 27. Beat the Jazz by 55.
They did. 150-95 that game.
Beat the Lakers by 18. Beat the Nuggets by 23. Beat the Magic by 27. And beat the Grizzlies by 15. This was the third time in NBA history a road team won 6 games by at least 15 points in a month. The other 2 teams that did it, the 2001-2002 Lakers and the 2011-2012 Heat, both of those won the title.
So what you're saying is...
What I'm saying is bet on the Charlotte Hornets to win the NBA championship.
There you go.
History.
Fun little stat here. If you didn't look at the box score of the 55-point win that Charlotte had over the Jazz, okay, that was a 150-point performance they put up.
Yep.
They had one player.
I saw that.
Hit 20 points. One.
How do you?
That is it.
And it's not like it's not like that one player had 50. He had what, like 22?
No, he had 20.
He had 20.
Trey Mann had 20 points in 12 minutes. He was the leading scorer on the team.
That scored 155 points.
Brandon Miller had 18. LaMelo Ball had 17. Moussa Diabate had 10. Con Knipple had 12. Miles Bridges had 15. Ryan Kalkbrenner had 12. Colin Sexton had 15. And Josh Green had 13. All of those guys in double digits. Grant Williams had 9. Sion James had 4.
So this is a team, though, that, let's be honest, over the last year, there's been lots of talk of, hey, we got to dump LaMelo and try to build some more stuff. Are they in a situation where right now, based on how they're playing, could they also be buyers?
Okay. As crazy as that sounds, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't the Hornets be a great spot for Zubac?
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes, right? They would.
That starting lineup is LaMelo Ball, Con Knipple. Con Knipple has
right now potentially
so
Rookie of the Year.
He has been so good for them.
Yeah. Yes, he has.
LaMelo Ball, Con Knipple, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges. Add Zubac to that starting 5, and that's legit.
Mm-hmm.
That's legit.
That's a legit young starting 5.
It is.
Yeah.
Boy, that's fun. That's fun. I'd love to see the Hornets have success, man. I really would. I really, really would. I think it's so fun when like I know that listen, the Cavs are my team, and I had really high expectations this year, and they are improving, by the way. Yes. They have been getting better this season, as they would as they get healthier.
Yep.
Even though they just lost Mobley for like 3 weeks, potentially, which really sucks. But I enjoy seeing teams like the Pistons, like the Magic, right? Teams like Minnesota.
Yeah.
The Rockets, right? Like those young teams that spent years building, they actually start getting better. That's what's fun for me.
That they develop through the draft and build the camaraderie and build their talent within. Absolutely.
I get bored of the Laker method, of the Clipper method, of just buy, and just, have the revolving door of, borderline all-star players to keep yourself in the playoffs.
Yep.
No, I like it when teams build. That's what I like about
I agree.
the most. I really am like.
Yeah, so I hope the Hornets can find their way in. Keep playing the way they are, because again,
they're 3.5 back of the last playoff spot.
And the Bulls are fading, the Hawks are fading, Miami, depending on if they make a move,
fall out. Since they traded Trae Young, they will fall out.
Yeah. So Hornets are definitely, I think, going to be in that play-in mix. Then the question is, can they do good enough to survive to get into the playoffs? I don't know if I foresee them doing much in the playoffs, but it'd be a fantastic story if they find their way back in to continue this build and the confidence. And I'm all for Charlotte. I'm glad we were able to end our show giving the Charlotte Hornets some damn love, because no one's giving them any love.
Nobody's giving them any love. But you know who is giving them love?
You and
Mike
I.
And Josh.
That's right.
Mike and Josh is giving them love. All right, that does it for us. That's Josh Tariff. I'm Mike Guido. This is Mike and Josh. Episode 10, by the way. Episode 10 of Mike and Josh.
Well, before you hit the music, you started this last week. We need to end the show with a crazy prediction.
That's right. That is right. That's right.
So what is your crazy prediction that could happen between now and next show?
Or no, wasn't it? We were going to predict the breaking news that was going to happen.
Oh, like right shortly after we got off the air.
After the show ended, right.
That's right. So what is your breaking news? I mean, it's probably, we got to think it's either got to be an NFL coach hire or an NBA trade.
I forgot about this, so I wasn't prepared for it. So now I can think it on the spot. So now I have to think, okay, here we go.
Yep.
Baseball.
Oh, okay.
Baseball, okay. Framber Valdez will sign with the Baltimore Orioles.
Okay. I will stick with NBA since that's what we were ending with today. And I will say Michael Porter Jr. gets traded.
Ooh, to who? I won't hold you to this.
No. Let's say to the Warriors.
Oh, okay.
And for all we know, then they could use that in a package for Giannis.
They
can immediately flip him.
Yep. There you go. Perfect. All righty. That does it for us. And together we sing.
You are listening to Mike Guido and Josh Tariff. Buckle up!
New time slot every Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern.
I still can't get over the Hornets won by 55 with 120-point scorer.
120-point score. 150-point night. 120-point score. The Charlotte Hornets to win it all this year.
The history says it. Bet your money. There's not gambling advice. Hornets for the title.
We'll see you next week.